Mark Lidbetter here, sports editor of the Suburban newspaper. And today I would like to welcome Alouettes general manager Danny Maciocia, who got his start with the St. Leonard Cougars. So shout out to the Cougar organization, back with the Canadian Junior Football League. And he has a wealth of experience and success along the way that's brought him all the way back home to head up the Montreal program as GM. And Danny, thanks for being here today. I appreciate it greatly.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Now, the CFL is celebrating what would be Grey Cup week when we'd be normally planning our parties. They've got a bunch of online activities with Grey Cup Unite. Now, do you think this is a good way that the league has come up with to have the fans engaged during a week when there is no Grey Cup game this year?
Well, I mean, obviously, ideally, just like you mentioned, we all like to be down in Regina and celebrating Grey Cup week, and I can just imagine the festivities and the activities, and especially with the Saskatchewan group, we all know that they know how to throw a good party, and they're pretty passionate about the football in Western Canada, in particular Saskatchewan. But this, I would think, is possibly the next best thing. And let's not forget, we're also trying to make the CFL community know that we're here. We understand some of the struggles that everybody's experienced this year, knowing full well that we've got something to look forward to next year. And let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate it. Let's celebrate it together. What would have been and what will be moving forward. And and I think it's going to be a great week with all the messaging and what's been, what Randy Ambrosie has come out with, and what every respective club has announced here over the last little while. I think it's an exciting time, and I think it's the only way to look at it. And it's sort of like an escape also for everything that we've experienced as a community, knowing full well there's something to look forward to here in the future.
Now, you actually participated with President Maciocia, fielding questions from the fans. Did it surprise you, the knowledge and the dedication our fans have for the Alouettes with some of the questions they came up with?
Oh, yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, you can tell they're pretty passionate. You can tell that they're up to speed with current events. You can tell that they're up to speed with even with the intricacies of the ratio and the salary cap and everything that goes with it, and that to me is encouraging. That tells me that CFL football is alive and kicking, in particular in the province of Quebec, where there's a history of it. And when you take a look at the grassroots, there's a lot of good football players and a lot of good football coaches and organizations. So, like I said, they were definitely interesting questions, and it also inspires us, knowing full well there's something to look forward to.
Now, you have two Grey Cups to your credit, both with the Eskimos, with Edmonton. 2003 as an offensive coordinator, beating Montreal 34-22. Then as the head coach in 2005, again, a thrilling 38-35 overtime win over Montreal again, unfortunately. But looking back on that, I mean, what is the feeling of hoisting that cup, of winning such a prestigious championship? Because the Grey Cup in the annals of sports, that's a really special one out there.
It's a tremendous feeling. I don't know if the way I'm going to describe it gives it, the merit and the justice that it deserves. It's something that I think you really have to experience in order to understand it. But it's a tremendous feeling to be amongst your teammates and amongst your peers and people within the organization. And and I always say that the Grey Cup, there's only so many names that are engraved on that Grey Cup, and I think every name represents a lot of people. And I've always said in my case, it's an extension of my family, the sacrifices that they've made for it, for me to have my name on that Grey Cup. And that's why I always say that when I do take the field, it's not only me that takes it, but there's so many other people that take it with me, especially the people that have sacrificed and that have believed in me along the way. And you multiply that by the number of players that win that game, that Cup during the course of a game. And that's what makes it so unique, so precious, and so special. And like, I mean, we always talk about the Grey Cup bonus. You get it, that money's always spent, but the memories, the souvenirs, they stay with you for a lifetime.
And other than the Grey Cups that you've been involved with, growing up, or even when you were, coaching and not involved in a Grey Cup final, is there one in particular that, as a fan of the game, that you remember and enjoy greatly?
Well, when I was 10 years old, I remember going to the Olympic Stadium to watch 1977 Grey Cup game between the Montreal Alouettes and the Edmonton Eskimos. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, I used to, my idol was Peter Delariva, so I used to love watching, Peter play, and we've become very, very good friends over the last, I would say, 20 years. And I remember watching, Montreal play Edmonton, and the famous Staple game, and another member, and another individual that played in that game that's an extension of my family, and I ended up coaching with him for 8.5 years, was Dan Kepley, that played middle linebacker for the Eskimos. And we still speak regularly. He's a dear friend of mine, and when I was living out in Edmonton, I mean, there wouldn't be a day that would go by that we wouldn't spend together. So I'll never forget that game. I mean, it was sold out. It was a transportation strike. It was cold. The field was an ice rink. Tony Proudfoot that happened to find that staple gun and drilled staples in people's in the players' cleats. Or there were broom ball shoes, if I'm not mistaken. And went out there, and they were able to perform and win, and not only win, but win convincingly.
41-6 against Edmonton.
Yeah, 41-6. Yeah, and I think that's one of the highlights. As a fan, growing up watching, a CFL Grey Cup.
Yeah, that ranks up there with mine. And of course, later on, Rick Moffat christening the late Tony Proudfoot as Tony Staple Gun Proudfoot, and he carried that proudly with him all the way.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing more Canadian than our game and our Grey Cup game, and to see the Mounties bring that cup down there. So, I mean, it's got to be something that, I mean, there has to be an air of positivity out there, that there's going to be a season in 2021. Is there a message that you do want to pass on to all the Alouettes faithful out there?
Well, first and foremost, I know it's been a difficult season, and the Alouettes organization appreciates the support, the continued support that they've shown, the interest that they've shown along the way. The number of times I get stopped in the street and everybody asks, the question, are you hopeful that there's going to be a season in 2021? What's our football team going to look like? I mean, we've got some of the best fans in all of Canada, and there's no better venue, in my opinion, when we're downtown, at McGill Stadium, under the lights, with the beautiful skyline, the backdrop, and we're playing before a capacity crowd, and you can feel their presence because, like I said, there's no track around that field, so they're practically on you, and you can feel the 13th man, and you can feel the support and the enthusiasm and the electricity in the air, and that's something that we're looking forward to getting back to. And we realize that that passion will still be there on behalf of our fans, and we're looking forward to sharing that with them. And my message is, we're going to be back. We're going to be back. We're going to be back even stronger than we were. And just keep the faith. And we're looking forward to seeing each other at the ballpark.
And I'm sure the players are looking forward to that, because I know they love when the fans are in the stands. Like you say, they're so passionate.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you for being here and joining me and getting to talk some football. It definitely was missed by many this year, and I know that we're going to have a good time. So again, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for your support to all the Owls fans out there. Keep the faith. We'll see each other soon. Stay safe, and there's no question that there's some great days that lie ahead of us.
This is Mark Lidbetter with another edition of Judgment Calls. You know where to find me, sportsatthesuburban.com. If you have any questions, any suggestions, and my judgment call on this one is, let's get that winter out of the way. It's postseason now. The Alouettes will be prepping, and we're going to be back at Molson Stadium enjoying some great Canadian football. Take care, everyone.